You're a quality manager, you're working on ISO 9001 2015, and you want to know some more terms and definitions. In this little episode of Making Time for Improvement here at Best Practice, we're in the lab, we're live on YouTube, as we promised every Wednesday, to talk about some terms and definitions. So this is live, it's real time. I've got ISO 9000 terms and definitions here right in front of me. I'm just going to go through a couple of the top 10 terms that I think you need to know to grow in your quality management role and in your career. And this is applicable for health and safety managers, quality managers, safety managers, environmental managers, everybody that's involved in management systems. So I think what it's time to do is start with the first one, which is continual improvement. And continual improvement is all about, I guess, the intent of what this exercise is all about. So any of the ISO standards that are management system specifications, it's all about continual improvement. Now, one might think it might be something like a performance over time graph, and that's certainly what we talk about here at Best Practice. We're looking at measurement over time. Now, that might be more like continuous improvement, and we can talk about continual improvement and understanding the definition. Continual improvement might be more like something like this, for example. So as you're looking at your statistics dashboard in your management system, have a think about continual improvement, but it's the intent. So it's thinking about what's a part of the organization that you're working with that you would like to improve, and you can go away and start working on that, or consult with your business if you like, or communicate with your business. So, or your organization about continual improvement. So that's really important. It's the intent of everything, and I think it's probably the first one that we should start with. Okay, what else have we got here? I'm going to pick them at random until we get to 10. Some of my favorite ones: management system. Now, that's a really challenging one because it is sometimes hard to understand. Even I struggle with it from time to time. But it's the management system to direct and control an organization with regard to quality, safety, environment, information security, food safety. So if you're talking about a quality management system, it's a management system that covers off all of the things that you put in place to control quality. So if you're measuring quality again on our statistics dashboard, then it's the system that actually helps you get this performance. And it's all the things that you're putting in place at incremental points in time that can guarantee an outcome. I like to use the analogy of a cookbook, if you like. So, there's lots of celebrity chefs preparing cookbooks. The cookbook's like the management system, really simple set of instructions, lovely little picture of what the amazing dish looks like, and then a methodology. You could almost call that, a component of a management system. But it's all about directing quality, if it's a quality system, or it's the policies, procedures, systems, processes, software databases, all the things that you use to manage quality in your organization, or safety, or environment, or food safety.
Have the management system, that terminology, has that changed as the standards have progressed?
No, it's stayed the same, but I think I've got Jack here in the studio with me, looking after the control panel. The definition of management system hasn't changed, but the way we go about it has. So we've moved from prescriptive, lots of policies and procedures, to the concept of risk-based thinking. And, there's a good definition, something that you need to know as a manager: risk-based thinking. My mum always used to say to me, think about the consequences of your actions. What are the consequences or the potential consequences of your actions? And so I guess there's a certain amount of logic or common sense that we might say, okay, well, yeah, that makes sense. So this, in terms of setting up the controls that get you that performance we were just talking about, risk-based thinking is about thinking about risk and opportunity, and then what will you do about that? So a great question I've been asking in the last couple of days is, in thinking about the next 12 weeks, what does success look like for you? And that's risk-based thinking. What does success look like for you? In thinking about the next 12 weeks, what could go wrong? So here at Best Practice, we talk about, quarterly management cycles or quarterly review cycles. So risk-based thinking would be thinking ahead. What could go wrong? What do we need to do about that? Let's do that so that that thing doesn't happen, or let's do that so we get that performance. I just mentioned management review. That's a good definition or a good term. That's the management review is the thing that takes place in an organization to look at. It's about setting a time, and our management review here at Best Practice was yesterday. So it's about setting a time. We do it quarterly. So quarterly is a good idea to look at your whole management system, to look at the performance of your organization and to say, well, what are we going to do to improve it? Are we happy with performance in this particular area of the business? What are we going to do to improve that? And so management review is where it says a lot of the standards say top management shall at defined periods review the performance of the system. But management review for me is more about that's the time when you set your objectives and targets and you think about who do we need to train, how much money do we need, etc. Going forward. So management review, that's that. It's, it talks about top management, but I think it's more about the people with autonomy or the people empowered to actually be making change, real change in the organization and helping to improve. They might be considered to be involved in that process. Make sense?
Yep.
Excellent. Okay. So let me think about this. Look, I think on the topic that just as we're talking about management review, I think we need to talk about top management. And we're going 1, 2, 3, 4. Top management. This is a really interesting one. Top management, person or group of people who direct and control an organization at the highest level. Well, what about the people that have got autonomy to actually make changes with regards to how the organization is performing? I think that's probably something that's changing. Like, I don't want you guys to be scared. Like if you're, a little bit lower in the organizational chart, I don't want you to be scared about the fact that what is your true role there at the organization. And I think some people sort of, they're a little bit shy and hide behind what they're there to do. But when we talk about business leaders are looking for people to take them solutions. So I hope you're not one of those people that just keeps going in and putting problems on your leaders. Sure, if there's a problem, that's great and it needs to be talked about. But take a solution from your perspective, from where you are in the organization. Say, we've got this problem and it's a real challenge, and here's what I think the solution is. What do you think about that solution? And I think you'll find you'll work more effectively with leaders, and they'll understand that, oh, okay, great, I can approve that thing. This person's really thinking about how to help and improve and grow this organization. So I hope you're not one of those people that just creates problems for leaders. We talk about it here at Best Practice as throwing the monkey in the CEO's office. People walk past my office, throw a monkey in the door, a problem, and then shut the door and the monkey gets stuck in my office. And in fact, that's why we're running late today with our Go Live, but we have made time for improvement. That's our segment live on Wednesdays. That's what we're talking about. So have a think about that from a top management perspective. We're talking about top management. I think top management is about people that are there to help propose, make change, and help with problems. So don't think top management is just the top. Don't leave it all up to them. We try and have it all the way through the organisation. That's certainly the intent of some of the new standards. Okay, we've talked about management system. Oh, hang on. There's another definition of management system, which I talked about up here at number 2, which is a management system in an organisation can include different systems such as quality, financial, environmental management systems, and it's the system that's there to establish policy and objectives and the system to help achieve those objectives. So when you've got your performance over time graph that we drew, it looks like this, your performance over time graph, and your system is about, well, there's our objective up there. And if you're having trouble writing objectives and targets, maybe I'll do that as the next definition. It's the things that we need to do, the tasks we need to do to actually keep pushing this performance with our forecast, if that makes sense. Any questions from my apprentice?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay. What did I just say I was going to do then? Definition?
Objectives and...
Okay. Let me see if that is here.
So is management review, is that kind of like finding the time to work on the business instead of in the business?
Yes, it's definitely finding the time to work on the business and not in the business. I took all the managers off site yesterday and we worked on best practice and we talked about things we can improve, did a bit of a debrief, and it was a really good session. So we worked on the business.
So someone out there that's getting 9001,
Yep.
and they're like, oh, I've got to do this management review,
Yeah.
What's like an easy way? Because they probably do it from time to time without even knowing that it's called management review.
I think one thing a lot of people say to me is like with management review and top management is like, yeah, we have a meeting every Friday, or we meet once a week, or we meet once a month. I think that's fine, but it's about going into the meeting with a mindset of improvement, not going in the meeting to like, oh, I've got to fix all this stuff, or we've got to meet and chat about something. It's like starting the meeting with the objective, which is why are we here for this management review? We're here to look at the process improvement of the organisation. We're here to look at the performance of the organisation. How are we going? And we're here to discuss, resolve, and write a to-do list of the things we're going to do to improve our performance. It's about going into the meeting with the right mindset. Too often I see organisations doing management review where it's retrospective. It's like, this is how we went, these were our numbers, and everyone's like, oh, great. But all of the ISO standards talk about inputs and outputs of management review, and the output is a to-do list of changes, maybe some training requirements, adjustment of resources, tweaking of budgets. That's the whole idea of management review. It's to actually go, right, now I've got my to-do list, off I go and do my things.
Right.
Okay. I was going to do objectives and targets. And targets. It's a term you need to know because it is one that everybody struggles with. The reason why I draw so many performance over time graphs on whiteboards and on dashboards and that sort of stuff is it makes it much, much easier to set objectives and targets. And objectives and targets are like, what do you guys want to achieve? In thinking about the next 12 weeks, what does success look like? In thinking about the next 12 weeks, what could go wrong? And it's really easy to say, well, on this day, by this time, we will have this achieved, or we will have prevented that from happening. Really simple. Objectives and targets, we've got a technique that we can use, and you can Google this. It's SMART. Specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time-based. If an objective and target's on a performance over time graph, like there's our objective or our target, it's specific because you've got units of measurement over time. It's measurable and it's time-based. Achievable and realistic really comes down to your management review and your top management to discuss, well, with the budget we've got, can we achieve that? Is it realistic? And achievable and realistic are questions. This thing we've set for ourselves, is it achievable and realistic? And you go, yeah, cool. Here's our current level of performance. And that's the direction that it's going in, like that. And it's forecast to go like this. Well, that would be unrealistic, if that makes sense. Whatever you're measuring. Oh, like Net Promoter Score is a pretty modern measure of customer satisfaction. If you haven't looked at Net Promoter Score, please go do a Google search on that. If you've got a low Net Promoter Score, it will be unrealistic to say your Net Promoter Score is going to go up incrementally, like really quickly, because it takes a long time for the organisation to improve its levels of customer satisfaction. Okay. SMART, I'll get rid of that. Okay. Comment below this video if you're watching the video live, or if you're watching the video after we've done this live broadcast. Comment below if there's any other definitions that you'd like me to talk about. I'll get through 10 in this video, but if there's other definitions you need some explanation on, please ask. Okay, what have we got here? I want to find a really good one. Competence.
How much does this one have to do with perspective of the individual?
Look, competence is a really interesting one. It's a term that I think everybody needs to know. And I think, you know, from a, I've just lost it on the page. I saw it. All right, it's gone. Doesn't matter. No, I found it. Okay. So from, this is a live event, by the way. There's no scripting and deleting and editing. This is real live best practice. Competence is really important because by and large, ISO 9001 or ISO 14001 or ISO 45001, they are all management system standards. They're all management system specifications for organizations. What are organizations? They're groups of people. And I think we shy over too often that actually what we're talking about is people, and we put the people to the side and we keep writing policies and procedures. when in actual fact, and Andrew Barrett and I were talking, if you have a look at the Talking Business interviews on our YouTube channel in the Talking Business playlist, you'll see a recent conversation with Andrew Barrett where Andrew Barrett was talking about like safety work or working safely, if that makes sense. And competence is important because competence starts to talk about demonstrated ability to apply knowledge and skills. Competence is not a certificate from a course. Competence is not, a nice pretty bit of paper on the wall. Competence is not that you've done a training course. Competence is a demonstrated ability to apply knowledge and skills. So please don't think you need to go outside and do a course. Please don't think you need a certificate. It's about in the work environment, in real life, at your office, in your organization, in your factory, at your building site. It's about you or your colleagues around you demonstrated ability to apply the knowledge and skills to get the outcome, get the job done. That's what organizations and work is all about. So competence, that's a good one. Okay. I want to steer away from those ones. Preventative action. Preventative action, that looks like rubbish. Preventative action. So we talked about risk-based thinking. We talked about, what are the potential things that could go wrong? What are the things that we can work on? What are the things that, in thinking about the future, what does success look like? Or what are the disasters that could happen? So preventative action is really about the to-do list that we implement or execute that stops those things happening. They're preventative actions. It's not about, here's what we're going to do or here's the plan. It's actually about doing, and it's about demonstrating that you've done it, and it's on your to-done list. It's great to have a to-do list, but do you have a to-done list? So preventative action is all about preventing these things happening. I see lots of organizations every day responding to issues and complaints and concerns and problems, and they go, yeah, I fixed it. Like, a customer had something that was wrong, so we fixed it. My question is always, well, what are you doing to stop that happening again? Have you done that to anybody else? Like customer complaints are often, you've done it to a bunch of people, but then one person complained. So is there anything that your organization could do in the next 12 weeks to upset a customer, to hurt a member of staff, to damage the environment? Is there anything that your organization could do to upset a customer, damage the environment, hurt somebody? Have a think about that. What can we do right now to prevent that happening? And then when will you do it? Now it's really about that. I've talked about it before. Who, what, when, where, how, and actually getting on with it. And then when will it be complete? When will that thing that you're going to do to stop that thing happening, when will that be done in place so the issue doesn't come, so the issue doesn't happen? Am I making sense?
Yep.
Awesome. Okay.
How else can you show your preventative action? So if someone's read that term in the standard, and they're like, how do I prove that I'm doing
your performance?
Right. So back to,
it's all about performance. So you're tracking your performance. What can you track? Numbers of injuries or incidents. So how would you prove it? You say, well, look, we've gone for this one without hurting anybody. We've gone for this one without a customer complaint.
Right.
So that's how that's how you prove that your preventative actions are working. I think we rely too much with auditors and assessments and certification. We're relying too much on, let's write everything down, and not enough on actually just get on with it and deliver the performance. Outcomes focused, end user focused, outcomes focused, staff focused, if that makes sense. Okay, here's a good one. Interested party. I promise by the next video, I will be better at writing on a whiteboard. My handwriting is horrible. Interested party, someone with an interest in your organization, someone that's got a concern, So have a think about who would be the interested parties for your organization. They could be customers, they could be suppliers, they could be financial institutions, They could be end users of your customers. Like you might have a customer, but that customer's got an end user. They could be your staff. They could be your shareholders. They could be your managers. They could be the families of your staff. You know, particularly from a safety perspective, the families of your staff are interested parties because the person's coming to be the breadwinner in your organization, and then, you know, you hurt them, you hurt the family. So really important to be thinking about interested parties. Sometimes here in Australia, we might call them stakeholders. So it's someone who's got a stake in the organization, something they're interested in. There is a requirement in some of the standards to be doing a stakeholder or an interested parties analysis. And that's really simple. What could we do to upset them? Is there anybody we could upset? Yes. Is there anything that anybody we could make really happy? Yes. Okay, well, is that a good thing or a bad thing? So if we did, you know, we started to identify specifically with their specific name and their specific location, the interested parties in our organization, it starts to give us some really good context around the things that we need to manage and the priorities that we have for our organization. Okay. I've got one more, Jack, and I'm going to let you tell me a term that you think we should cover. I mean, I've got lots here, but you give me one.
What about just PDCA cycle?
Okay, so another terminology, and I'll give you a bonus one in a minute because I just found a really good one. Plan, do, check, and act. It gets forgotten. It's back to basics 101. Plan, do, check, act. It's the cycle of improvement. Plan, do, check, act. And it's the cycle that the standards are based on. Where we're doing our planning, then we're planning, then we're off doing our just running the organization, then we check in and we say, how are we going? And we're not going very well, so we act. And that's the cycle of continual improvement, and it often gets forgotten. We all get too caught up in writing policies and procedures and flowcharts, and I was literally before this live stream doing a sales flow chart for our processes. So plan, do, check, act is really important to understand. That's the cycle of continual improvement, and it relates to this stuff. So that's how we're going to actually keep evaluating how we're going and looking at how am I tracking, how am I going. So my bonus one, absolute bonus one today, and I actually quite like this one.
Use the red. What's it red?
All right, here's the bonus one. Jack wants it in red. The bonus one, number 11. This is a really cool one, is effectiveness. Surprise, effectiveness. I really like this definition. Extent to which planned activities are realized and planned results achieved. So planned activities realized and planned results achieved. That would be the effectiveness of our controls for our risks, of our continual improvement of our management system, that we actually hit our goals and targets. So I quite like that one, effectiveness. That's your bonus one, 11. Okay, that's been making time for improvement. Any questions?
If, I had a good one. If you're like using
Jack's thinking right now is not effective.
Okay, so with these terms,
yep,
we like our best practice assessors, we like them to translate the standard to help try and communicate. So
you want me to give you my top run over in terms of what this is in lay language?
Yes, please.
Jack's nodding. Okay. So I'm going to give this to you, and what we'll do is we'll try and produce a document and put it on our bestpracticecertification.com.au website, which will be the terms in plain language. So continual improvement, constantly improving how you're going. So I'm doing a fair bit of running training at the moment, and I'm looking at how far I can go, and I'm trying to shorten the time. Same distance, quicker and quicker and quicker. So I'm pulling my time down. So I'm starting the stopwatch, or I'm trying to get further in the same amount of time. That's continual improvement. Really simple. So in your organization, how can we improve our leads? How can we improve our sales? How can we grow our business? More competent staff, all those sorts of things. Management system. It's all the systems and processes that your people use to deliver your promises to your customers. So what promise do you make to your customers? How do your team know how to do that? Like, what do they follow? What do they use? That's your management system. That's your real life management system, not the manual that gets written for an audit and stuck on a shelf. Risk-based thinking, consequences of your actions. In thinking about success, what could go right in the next 12 weeks? What could go wrong in the next 12 weeks? So thinking about the next 12 weeks, it's not very far till the end of 2018. It's not far away. So between now and the end of 2018, what does success look like? What are the really big things that you want to get done and get completed so you can move into 2019? What could go wrong? That's what risk-based thinking is all about.
We'll put that little training guide on risk-based thinking in the description as well.
Okay, so we're going to drop a link in the description below of our risk-based thinking training guide. You can pick that up and download. You can click the link and download it. Management review, quarterly strategy sessions where you keep revisiting and resetting the business plan. How are your numbers going? What's the business plan say? How are your numbers? What's the business plan say? Management review, go and do a Google search for balanced scorecard. So if you're starting to look at the different metrics and how different parts of the business talk to each other. Top management, forget top management. It's just the key influences in the business that you need to bring together to actually look at strategic improvements to the business. Objectives and targets, what do you want to achieve? What are your goals? Competence, can your people do what you need them to do? Do they actually demonstrate that? And do they do what you need them to do? Preventative action, so shit doesn't happen again. Interested parties, your stakeholders, the people involved in the business that are key people like customers, suppliers, those key people that when shit goes wrong, it all goes wrong. So it's like, okay, we need to focus on that. But people we're making promises to. We make promises to suppliers. We make promises to clients. We make promises to customers, promises to end users, brand promises. That key interested parties. Plan, do, check, act. And obviously I talked about effectiveness. You got a question?
I was going to say, in our management review or the exec yesterday, there was a good word that came up, which was partnership.
Absolutely. Totally. So who are you in partnerships with? What we're really passionate about here at Best Practice is realizing potential from partnerships and through partnerships. So, refining what we do in terms of, how we go to market and what we're helping you guys with. So this has been thinking about improvement and making time for improvement, which is our regular Wednesday YouTube live stream. So look out for us every Wednesday for a live stream on YouTube. Watch it after. If you're seeing this after the event, try and join us live next week. We'll try and post the time so you know when we're out there. So if you've got any questions, comment below. So we'll see and monitor all the comments on our YouTube channel. Go see if you can try and find me on LinkedIn. My handle is @KobeSimat on LinkedIn. Hit the follow button and you'll get all my daily updates in terms of everything we're doing here at Best Practice on LinkedIn. Don't forget to click subscribe above to the YouTube channel. We monitor what's going on and we can get our content directly to you. And go check out our training academy because there's a ton of great videos where we explain all this stuff in detail. You can purchase a couple of the cheap little courses. They're going to help you out immensely. So if you want more detail, you want more one-on-one time, then look out for that. Now, there's going to be a big surprise next month where I'm going to be offering some personal coaching calls one-on-one on Google Hangouts. So get ready for that. And if you're interested in going into the comments, if you're interested in going into that competition to win a personal hour of one-on-one time with me, comment below and we'll make sure you get notified of when the competition opens, what we need you to do. So if you've got anybody that needs to hear this message, anybody that needs to see this commentary, please share it with them. Copy the link off YouTube, share it with them so they get to see it as well. And we're going to see you next week, every other day this week with the usual videos, but next week right here live, making time for improvement. I'm Kobe Simat. Bye for now.